Hi, everyone. My name is Dalton Sharon. The other researchers are Gabby Rogan, Alyssa Titzer, and Maya Vera. All year, we have been working on a research project, and today we'll be sharing with you our study on perceptions of women violating gender norms in the gym. To begin, I will discuss the background research. Maya will then take us into our hypothesis and method. Alyssa will then take us into our results. Lastly, Gabby will go over the discussion portion. Gender norms are a complex social system that structures the life experiences of all human beings. Within the ideal of gender, there is something known as feminine and masculine. What is considered feminine and masculine reflects a profound hierarchy in which those who inhibit masculine traits are found superior to those who inhibit feminine traits, and thus leave neither to be understood separately from the gendered system that shapes them. The importance and understanding of gender norms is imperative when looking at inequalities within women and men. Norms have occupied institutions for decades, defining who is in leadership positions, who is valued, and much more. Therefore, showing that gender as a whole is not accurately captured by the traditional female and male dichotomy of sex, but instead is a complex system that structures the life experiences of all human beings. The overall idea is that gender norms sustain a hierarchy of power and privilege that favors what is considered male or masculine over what is female or feminine. This undermines the rights of women and restricts many opportunities for women. Gender norms are essential in understanding the relationship they have in regards to health and how people achieve positive health beneficiating behavior. A huge area in which we see inequality within women and men is in regards to health. We as humans take several actions to gain a healthy lifestyle. This could be dieting, stress management, going to the gym, and much more. However, certain positive health promoting behavior people participate in is physical activity. While there are many forms of physical activity, going to the gym is one form of activity that most everyone participates in. Literature has shown much evidence that being gendered in the gym is a very relevant and important topic to discuss. Physical activity has become a highly gendered behavior that shows women less likely than men to meet the global idea of what that concept is. Women in the gym are seen as less than men in several regards because of being labeled as feminine. What is feminine is seen as being sweet, nice, submissive, weak, delicate, put together, and much more. Due to this ideal of femininity, it had made men and both women to judge women in the gym on two different categories: their overall appearance, specifically clothing, and how they choose to engage in exercise. Previous literature has led us to look at two reasons why women are being gendered in the gym. These two ideals have created inequality within the gym. As discussed before, specifically clothing women wear to the gym and the exercise they do highly affects how they are viewed in a gym setting. An important fact to realize is clothing matters. Women who wear fashionable, tight-fitting clothing are at risk for being insecure and objectified. Women are often subjected to highly prescribed gender culture ideas of how they should look and act simply based on the gender assigned to a body. Those who wear crop tops, tight leggings, short shorts are seen as being naked, and they are in danger of being reappropriated by dominant masculine discourse and being viewed by a male audience. Another play of inequality is women looking at other women's clothing and what they wear in the gym. Certain women discuss how planning their workout clothes and comparing their clothes to those of others were central aspects of their overall workout experience. This is all part of a patriarchal system. There is unique insight into women's preferences where they felt more comfortable in carefully chosen gym outfits that followed the close-fitting normative dress of many other women within the gym. Another aspect that also plays a huge role is women feeling scrutinized in the gym by the type of exercise they engage in. Gyms are divided by gendered spaces, with the majority of men participating in weight training exercise and the majority of women using cardiovascular machines and aerobic classes. Of the women who did weight train, it was found that they did so in a restrictive manner. Unlike men who utilized the entire weight room, women tended to concentrate their weight training to the resistance machines and weight circuit training areas to avoid engaging in what is often seen as male-only hegemonic masculine space. As you can see, literature has shown us that gender norms are a very real and relevant issue. It has shown us that health is a huge topic that needs to be talked about in regards to how the idea of what is feminine and what is masculine shapes physical activity. Gym culture and overall created gender norms oppress women into wearing certain clothing and doing certain exercises to feel comfortable, thus restricting their full potential. This has led us to discover our hypothesis.
In our study, we examined how women who violate gender norms in the gym are perceived compared to women who don't. Every participant was assigned to a scenario where Hannah was working out at the gym our independent variables being clothing, exercise, and participants' gender. To test perception, we used a semantic differential scale and a conformity to feminine norms inventory. Since women often face social backlash if they don't conform to gender norms, we predicted that the participants would rate the women conforming to gender norms more favorably. We believe that a woman engaging in a cardio workout and wearing a cute pink outfit would have the highest ratings. The scenario that didn't conform to traditional feminine gender norms in the gym environment and had the woman engaged in weightlifting while wearing comfy clothes would be given lower scores. We also predicted that male participants are more likely to rate the woman doing cardio and wearing cute clothes higher than women participants. Next, I'm going to go over the methods section of our research and discuss the participants, procedure, and measures. In our study, we had 158 participants that took part in our research. We also incorporated demographic questions into the survey to get a general census on the participants' background information. Some of the questions included age, gender, ethnicity, and sexual orientation. The only requirement that we put in place was that the participants had to be at least 18 years old. UMW students in the introductory psych course were the exception as long as they obtained a parent signature for informed consent. We were able to recruit our participants using an online social media platform and Sona, and they were able to access the study through a link to Qualitrix. The participants that were recruited through Sona received half a course credit for their completion of this experiment. Before the start of the study, all participants were informed that the study was about people's perception of health and exercise. For the procedure of our research, participants were randomly assigned to read one version of our 4 scenarios that were created. As I stated before, each scenario differed in clothing type and workout activity. The clothing could have illustrated either comfortable oversized clothing or cute and tight-fitting athletic wear. The exercise in the scenario varied between cardio exercise or weightlifting. Participants then answered the portion of the survey that assessed their perception of the women in the scenario. Participants were first asked to complete a 61-item semantic differential scale. This measure had participants select what they feel best represents where the person in the scenario falls between 2 descriptive adjectives on a 5-point scale. One example of the items might show masculine and feminine as the descriptive adjectives on opposite sides. Participants then moved on and completed an adapted form of the conformity to feminine norms inventory. This scale consisted of 45 items that measured gender role conformity and was on a 4-point scale. For our study, we had to adapt the scale from first person to third person so that it represents the woman in the scenario. For example, we changed one item from I would be happier if I was thinner to Hannah would be happier if she was thinner. They then selected the option that best represented their perception of Hannah conforming or not conforming. 0 being strongly disagree to 3 being strongly agree. They completed the survey and were dismissed once they completed the demographic questions.
Going through our results, we're going to start with our first manipulation check for our clothing independent variable. We had 2 significant main effects for the MANOVA we ran. The first significant main effect was for participant gender, and the second main effect was for clothing type. For the main effect of gender, females rated the woman in the scenario more favorably with a mean of 0.67 than males with a mean of 0.22. For the main effect of clothing, the first individual item was labeled appearance. The cute clothing was rated more favorable with a mean of 0.75 than the comfortable clothing with a mean of 0.08. The second individual item was labeled cleanliness, and the cute clothing was rated more favorable on the item with a mean of 0.98 than the comfortable clothing with a mean of 0.06. The last adjective pair was labeled sexiness, and cute clothing was also rated higher with a mean of 0.58 than the comfortable clothing with a mean of negative 0.22. In addition, we ran a manipulation check for our exercise independent variable. An example of one of the adjective pairs we used for this was strong or weak. We did not have any significant findings for this MANOVA. The following test we ran was the MANOVA for our person perception scale. We had 1 significant finding, and that was for our main effect of clothing. For clothing, there was a significance for the subscale of potency. The other 2 subscales, evaluative and expressive, were not significant. For the potency subscale, the cute clothing was rated higher with a mean of 0.82 than the comfortable clothing with a mean of 0.41. We then ran an ANOVA for the individual item of feminine masculine. There was a significant main effect for clothing. There was also a significant interaction between clothing and gender. We'll start with the clothing main effect. The cute clothing was rated more favorable with a mean of 1.12 than the comfortable clothing with a mean of 0.17. For our interaction between clothing and gender, clothing was significant for the simple effect of cute clothing between males and females. Males rated the cute clothing lower with a mean of 0.66 than females with a mean of 1.43. There was no significance for the simple effect of gender and comfortable clothing. For gender, there was a significant simple effect for females and type of clothing. Females rated the cute clothing more favorably with a mean of 1.4 than the comfortable clothing with a mean of 1.16. There was no significance for the simple effect of clothing type for males. The final analysis we ran was a MANOVA for our conformity to feminine norms. We had one significant main effect for clothing. Our first subscale labeled domestic was significant, with cute clothing being rated more favorably with a mean of 2.41 than the comfortable clothing with a mean of 1.94. Our second subscale was invest in appearance, and it was also significant, and the cute clothing was rated more favorably with a mean of 2.4 than the comfortable clothing with a mean of 1.78. Our last subscale labeled modesty was also significant, and that also had cute clothing rated lower in favorability with a mean of 1.77 than the comfortable clothing with a mean of 2.19.
Before going into the results from our significant MANOVAs, it's imperative to remember that our reliability was lower than we would have liked, although we used already established measures. That being said, we need to interpret our results cautiously. So the MANOVA for the person perception scale showed that participants who read about Hannah in matching pink Gymshark outfit rated her more favorably in the potency subscale, regardless if she was engaging in gender-conforming exercises or not. We hypothesized that Hannah would be rated more favorably in the matching outfit than in the scenario with the oversized shirt and sweatpants. Although interestingly enough, the items on the potency subscale directly oppose other gender norms imposed on women, such as being demure. The MANOVA for the CFNI 45 showed that participants did rate Hannah more favorably if she was wearing the pink outfit, specifically in the domestic subscale, which included items like it is important to Hannah to keep her living space clean and invest in appearance, which includes items like Hannah spends more than 30 minutes a day doing her hair and makeup. The scenario in which Hannah wore an oversized tee and sweatpants, she was rated higher on modesty, which includes items like Hannah always downplays her achievement, showing that participants did find clothing to be an indicator if Hannah conformed to these norms. In the MANOVA for clothing, we found there was a significant difference in the response between men and women for item number 30. Women rated Hannah as more clean than men when they both had the scenario where she had the cute outfit. Hannah was rated more favorably in item number 27, 30, and 43, showing preference for women who conform to gender norms. Okay, we hypothesized that men would rate Hannah more favorably if she conformed to gender norms, and this ANOVA showed that it was actually the opposite. Women rated Hannah as much more favorably when she was wearing the pink matching outfit. Women rated Hannah as much more favorably in the cute outfit than women who had in the scenario when she was wearing comfortable clothes. So the limitations to our research that would stop it from being more generalizable to the greater population would be sample size, the fact that our participants were mostly white, they had to be male or female, and they were mostly heterosexual. Future research to make sure that we would be able to generalize it to the population we would have to have a more inclusive sample. We would like to change the scenario and see like if body composition determines if people think they conform to feminine norms more or less, and then more comparable outfits. We talked about Hannah in the pink Gymshark outfit, and that might say more about socioeconomic status than when she was in the old used t-shirt and sweatpants. So that was our presentation. We're looking forward to answering any questions you guys may have, and thank you so much for listening.